Faith is a journey. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be discussing the parable of the talents, and that is in the book of Matthew. It's chapter 25, verses 14 through 30, if you want to follow along. And so we'll just sort of paraphrase it because it's a little bit long to read it. Do you want to paraphrase for everyone?
Well, I'll kind of give my thoughts about it. Basically, it's Jesus gives an example of a master who has some slaves and servants, basically, and to one of them he gives 5 talents, and to another he gives 2 talents, and then to the last one he gives 1 talent.
I think it's important to note here that it does say that he gives to each according to their ability.
Okay.
So that's important.
Yeah, and I think if you want to try to look at it from the way I am kind of interpreting it, is they're using talents, which is a form of like basically that money, basically.
Money, yeah.
But I think the parable is trying to say something to the effect that our talent is like, that's where the words come from, the talent that we have that may be hidden or things we don't know. And I think that's what a lot of us in life are dealing with. We don't know really what our talents are.
The skills that God gave us when we were born, or the skills that he helps us develop as we go through life, I think really is what we're talking about.
And I'll kind of continue on. So what happens is the master leaves, and the one who had 5 talents, he goes out and doubles that and makes that into 10 talents. And then the second one who had 2 talents, doubled that and has 4 talents. But the last one, who was given the 1 talent, just went out and buried it, I guess, kind of out of fear.
Yeah, I think so.
Just to kind of make sure that when the master returned, he was able to give that 1 talent back. So, I mean, when you look at it, I kind of take it as like God is asking us to take what we're given, even if it's different, different things, and maximize what we can do.
Mm-hmm. And so when the master comes back, that first servant says, I have doubled the talents, and here you gave me 5, here's 10 back. And he says, well done, good and faithful servant. And the one who had 2 had doubled it to 4, gives the master 4 talents. And the master says, well done, good and faithful servant. But then it comes to the third one, who out of fear hid that talent. He said, master, here, I saved this for you. You can have back what you gave me. The master says, you wicked, lazy servant.
Yep.
And he takes that 1 and gives it to the one who had 10.
And then doesn't he throw him into the fiery pit of gnashing teeth or something like that?
So basically it kind of sounds like hell, to be honest with you.
So if you don't use your talents, you're going to hell.
I mean, that's pretty harsh.
I mean, it makes you wonder something like, are we even using our talents? I think in life right now, even myself.
I know, I'm a little scared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In many times in life, it feels like we get put in these positions where we want to do something different. We're not doing exactly what we want, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right, because a lot of times you get out of high school or you get out of college and you're just thinking, I have to pay my rent. I have to be able to buy food. I've got to pay my bills. And so you just get that job that allows you to do that. And then oftentimes you stay in that job or in that same area of
your career.
Yeah. And you don't really end up using the gifts that God gave you.
Yeah.
But there's a little caveat to that, I think. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
Oh, so what I was going to say is you can, and you know what? My mom used to tell me this, not in this way, but so what I was going to say is that you can't, maybe your talent is just being very sympathetic and caring. So let's say, out of college, you get a job, or out of high school, you get a job working insurance claims. And so maybe you're not so great at the boring paperwork part of it, but the customers love you. You know why? Because you're so understanding and so helpful, and you walk them through the process. They've just been in an accident. They need their car to get to and from work, and you help them through it, and you make it simpler for them, and you give them understanding in an area that was very foreign to them, and they
Often
didn't know what was
stressful
going to
too.
happen. Yeah, really stressful. They didn't know what was going to happen, all that uncertainty. And so maybe you are using your talent in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we struggle. We may be successful in some area in life, and we feel like, wow, that's our talent, but not necessarily. Maybe it's not, maybe just being successful in some area doesn't mean that's your talent.
Oh, good point.
You know, maybe
Yeah,
you're
like
driven called to do something else, but it's not. Maybe as you don't make as much money doing it, or maybe it's not as glamorous. You know,
mhm. Yeah, like think of all these movie stars and musicians out there who are really rich and famous. That's not necessarily the talent God gave them, right? Or maybe it is and they're not using it to glorify God, but just because you're really good at something and you get rich doing it doesn't mean that that's what the
your
path
real
that
calling
God.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, even myself, I really fight through that. I mean, like I may do good in one area of my life and be successful, but really my passion is something completely different. And but it might be something I'm scared to take that step and try to do.
Mhm.
You know, do you think that I think a lot of times fear is what holds a lot of us back, and that really goes back
Mm,
to what that third example, that servant or whatever,
yeah.
got the one talent and just buried it because
Yeah. And you know what? If I remember the parable right, he buried it out of fear of his master.
oh,
Remember?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So and he called him lazy and wicked, but he really didn't he wasn't an evil person. He was just scared.
So
He was afraid he was so afraid that he did nothing.
so I mean, in a way, is God telling us that we should take risk though? Because that doubling the five doubled to 10 total for the first one and 2 to 4, those people had to do something. They had to take a risk because they
Mhm.
could have gone out and lost the five. When you think about it,
Totally. I think about that all the time. When I was young, I remember hearing this. I was raised Catholic, and I remember hearing this parable and thinking, wow, those guys really they could have lost all that money.
yeah.
And then what? And I kind of felt bad for that last guy because
Would the
he couldn't
master have
have.
been mad?
I know what would have happened? What if they had lost it all? Would he have been mad or would he have said, "Great job trying"?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
maybe that's the message. I mean, maybe the message is even if you went out and you didn't double it, but you actually gave your effort and tried everything you could, that would be more respected by the
Mm,
master than one who just takes one thing and just curls up, hides, and basically goes into a
mhm.
fetal position and said, "I'm not going to do anything because I'm fearful." So
Yeah.
maybe God's calling us to live a life of with boldly go out there and try to be strong and take chances.
Yeah, and I think that the key to taking those chances is inviting God into those decisions and asking, praying about it and asking God the questions, how do I do this? What do I do? What's my next step? Show me how to do this. I need your help. Laying it all on the line for him and just admitting you need help with it. And if I think if you're willing to take that risk for God, then it's probably going to work out. And I think that's probably the point. One of the points of this parable is that they did risk a lot. They risked everything, and they
Yeah.
doubled what he gave them.
Well, I'll tell you a little story myself. I mean, I took a risk on doing something recently, of taking and potentially interviewing for a coaching position
Hmm.
in a sport that I am very well versed in, and that was my life when I grew up early playing basketball in high school and college. And while I am very confident in the business world, was nervous and very, stepping out of my comfort zone to go interview for a job that pays basically nothing. It's more of a volunteer position. But for some reason, that felt more important to me than even a high level business meeting where I'm putting on a massive presentation, which I could be done with ease.
Hmm.
But I felt really nervous about it, to be honest with you.
Oh,
And I don't feel that I did as well as I could. And I feel like, okay, well, is that my talent? I feel like I have that talent, and it needs to be it needs to be expressed, but that's an example of me being fearful. I was scared about it.
Mm-hmm. But you did it anyways.
I did it anyway.
And the outcome then, I know it's hard to let go of the outcomes, huh? Because we all have an idea of how we want things to turn out or how we think it should turn out. But really, how it turns out is up to God. And it might look different to us, and we might be disappointed at first until we realize maybe down the road that, oh, yeah, if that had worked out the way I wanted it, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Well, that's actually a really good point because it didn't work out the way I planned. I found out.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't get called back for the second interview.
Oh, wow.
No. But I know that in my heart, I actually have that talent.
Yeah. So maybe this just isn't the time. Maybe the timing is just off.
Exactly. So you got to hear kind of a real life situation where, you're taking those chances, but you have to realize that one door may close, but it might be redirecting you to another position.
Yeah.
So, well, hope you learned something today from this little episode and kind of heard our feelings and seeing kind of what it's like to push out there and try to go out there and use your talents. It's not always going to go easy, but you're doing God's work.
See you on the journey.
Talk to you next time.